Hello. So here I am in the middle of nowhere. I'm across the New Forest. I'm out by Bewley somewhere. I was trying to find somewhere nice to pull over that wasn't my house, so I could show you that the Lextek alarm03 does actually work with an Isca completely. Okay, so first of all, fitting is completely toolless. I was worried I was going to need to solder something, but you don't need to. So what you've got under here is you have your 7-pin doofer, which is there, under there, I don't know if you can see that. And then you have your Lextek alarm box, this is the code thing, and then just down there is the red speaker thing. Okay, so all you do is you get the 7-pin doofer from under there, plug it in the back of the box. This has got a sticky pad on the back, so you just use the sticky pad to stick it to your bike, and this one's got a sticky pad on it as well. And that is it. I mean, it's literally toolless. I did a lot of research because I messaged Lextek and said, is this compatible with the Isca? And they said, no, it wasn't. And I looked on the forums, they said, yes, it was. And when I spoke to my dealer when I first got the bike, they said, do you want an alarm? It'll cost 100 quid. And I said, 100 quid? No, thank you. But it did kind of raise questions. Does this bike have an alarm on it? Yes, it does. Okay, so this is what you get. We get two of these, two little key fobs. Okay, so to arm it, you press the little lock, and it makes horrible noise. And then you press the unlock, and then it's done. Now, a lot of people said that the electronic start doesn't work. It does. Okay, so normally you put the key in, you twist the key, and you hear this whining noise as the capacitor charges up, and then you can press the start button here, and then off your bike goes. With this, okay, so you need to press it twice. The first one puts some power through the system, and then if it was a carb bike, you could press the second button straight away and the bike would start. What you need to do is wait. Now this has got a timeout of 3 seconds between button pushes, so it will kind of switch your bike back off again after the first push. That means that your capacitor has got 3 seconds to charge, to give it enough charge to fire the starter mode to start the engine. But it does work. 1, 2, 3. As you can see, bike is started. Yeah. Key's in my hand. Key is not in the ignition. Yeah. No tricks. Okay, so that's pretty much how the alarm works. I mean, it's literally 2 plugs, right? One is the plug for the actual alarm speaker, and the other one is the plug for the control unit. And it's really easy. It's that easy to fit. So that's how you fit the alarm, and it does work. As you can see, it fully works. Obviously, if you've got your side stand down and you haven't disabled the side stand switch, it won't start, obviously. But otherwise, yeah, it starts fine. So, like I said, my dealer said we'll fit one for 100 quid. I got mine for £13 from the CMPO website. It was delivered really, really swiftly. Like 2 days over the weekend or something. Like I said, it took me about 10 minutes to fit because I was trying to get all the bits in the right place. Yeah, you know, because you want it to be stuck down properly, and then I was a little bit worried, is it going to work, isn't it going to work? Well, it did. Yeah, so there we go. It does fit, it does work on the Isca. I think they say that it doesn't because of the side stand and because of the fact you have to blip it, and you should wait for the whine to stop before you actually try and start the bike. Although you can get away with it if your battery's in good condition, like mine is. Now where the hell am I? Oh, I know where I am. I'm at Buckler's Hard, which means I want to go this way. I did live in third. No, I'll take you back across the forest, mainly because I want to show you how busy it is. It's insane. There is still a virus around. Oh Jesus, the state of this road is absolutely diabolical. Let's get my elbows in. I have to meet him on there, don't I? Oh, thank you. Yeah, so there we go. So now I'm riding around, I haven't got my keys in the ignition. That does mean that you need to have the key fob in order to stop the bike. That's quite important. You can't just start it and then just ride off into the sunset. Or lose your keys. You don't want to do that, do you? I mean, you don't really lose your keys anyway, but at least you know if they're in the top of the bike, you pretty much know where they are. Speaking of which, I'm going to check my pockets. Make sure I put them in the correct pocket. I did. Right. Okay, so, as I got your attention... sorry. As I got your attention, I'll tell you what I did with my Lexmoto. So, the other day, if you've seen my other videos, you've seen that I promised myself that I'd ride down to East Devon on a Lexmoto Isca, because I thought, hey, it can manage it, and you know what, it did. I used Kalimoto on the way down because I felt like having a bit of fun, and it gave me the most twistiest route you could imagine. So there's a set of hills, and there's a thing called Cernabus, which is basically a massive chalk hill with a man with a massive dick carved into it. Yeah, so that's where it took me. So across the forest and then through that way. Some of the roads were really dangerous. I mean, it was really fun. Don't get me wrong. The twisty roads and there was one where there were S-bends, like that 180 S-bends that dropped down like that kind of shape. It was amazing fun, but it was sort of, you know, erring on the side of dangerous. You know, some of them were single track roads with blind corners, completely overgrown. You know, I wouldn't choose to ride down there again. It was fun enough on its own. It took me 3 hours to get down there. Oh yeah, there were loads and loads of cows on the way down. I guess these are the same cows. Yeah, so I hate cows. I'm not a huge fan of cows. Yeah, so yeah, 90 miles down, really twisty. Yeah, it's a fantastic ride. I stopped every hour or so because, well, two reasons. One, there were some incredibly beautiful villages in Western Hampshire, East Dorset. Well, Dorset as a whole actually is incredibly pretty. Cows in the road earlier. I guess these have moved on. Yeah, so I stopped 3 times in those 3 hours. I think I stopped a couple of other times to take some photographs because there's no point doing a bike tour if you're not going to take nice photographs of where you are, you know. And the bike held up marvellously, reasonably comfortable. I think I stopped it must have been every hour and a bit, I think, which gave me just enough time to recover before I went on to the next bit. Yeah, and it was fine. I stayed down in Devon for a few hours, and then I came back, and on the way back, because quite frankly the 3 hours down it scared me a little bit, I'll be honest. That's how twisted they were. They were properly, at one point, great fun, 180-degree corners and a good 6-foot drop in those 180 degrees. Marvellous fun, really fun, but also getting a bike up there, especially a 125, would have been a struggle. That's how steep it was. It's really steep. So I came back on the A35, A31, big main roads, yeah. And yeah, I had the bike around 8,000 revs, pretty much all the way back. I didn't want to tax it too much. I want to take it to 9,000, 10,000, or anywhere near the limiter for that matter. and I did the 2 hours straight home, no rest, no stopping for the bike to cool down, no nothing, and the bike did really, really well, considering. Can't consider it was at, you know, top of its rev range for an appreciable amount of time. Horses. Yeah. Yeah, did really, really well. Got home, took it out for a ride the next day, and I realised that gear changing was not quite as slick as it used to be. Had a look at the chain, and the chain was a little bit slack, so I tightened it up. Not a difficult job. So for the Isca, I'll talk you through how to do that for the Isca. It's really quite easy, so I can tell you the process, but I've already done it once. So here's the process, and then if you're better than a screwdriver than I am, then you can do it better than me. So what you do is, at the back of the swing arm, there are 2 bolts. So let's imagine you're sitting on the chain side of the bike. So what you want to do is, first of all, go on the other side of the bike and undo the axle bolt for the back wheel. You just need to loosen it, you don't need to take it off. All you need is enough of it to loosen so the back wheel can move forwards and backwards down the swing arm. Okay, nice and easy step 1. Return to the chain side of the bike. On the back of the swing arm, sticking out the back, is a screw thread with 2 bolts on the back. Nuts, sorry. What you want to do, so the back one is a locking nut, and the other one is the adjuster nut. Yeah, the other one's the adjuster nut. Now what you want to do is loosen the locking nut and move it back a bit so you've got some space on the thread. And then the other one, so I wanted to do up, I wanted to extend the distance between my back wheel and the body of the bike. So to do that you need to tighten the adjustment nut. Okay, so you undo the locking nut, and then you tighten the adjuster nut, and that will move your back wheel out and it will move the chain up. It's surprisingly sensitive, so only like a quarter of a turn or maybe an eighth of a turn gives you several millimetres of travel. Okay, now on the Isca I think it was 15 millimetres you're supposed to have between the bottom and the top of the chain slackness, and that is after you've got weight on it. Okay, so you want to aim for about 18 to 20 millimetres, so when you sit on it, it will tighten the chain up. Okay, so you tighten the bolt, and then this is the way I did it. So I put the locking nut back on that side, okay, and then I went onto the non-chain side of the bike. And what you have to do is adjust that so the actual back wheel is straight, because obviously you've adjusted one side and not the other. So there's lots of ways you can do this. You can either use the markings that you see on the back of the bike, on the swing arm, on the silver bit and on the black bit of the swing arm, or you can do what I did. I measured the amount of bolt that was free after the locking nut, the actual screw thread. You'll see what I mean when you look at your bike. So I measured that, and I adjusted the other one so it was exactly the same distance. Now, assuming that the screw thread is the same part on both sides, I can't see why it wouldn't be, that means your back wheel will be straight. There are other ways of doing it, of course. You can use the markings on the swing arm itself, like you're supposed to. You know, there's other ways you can do it, but it's essentially measuring it and then making sure it's the same on both sides. And yeah, I did that, and the chain is now back up. I'm deciding whether to give it a new change of oil, consider it did all that work in one go. She seems okay without that. She's got another 500 miles, I think, before the next service. So, you know, she'll probably be alright, to be honest. She does sound a bit tappety. I mean, she is a lot smoother than she was before I left. You know, so I recommend actually taking your 125 out for a big run if it's a new one. Get your second service out of the way, so you know the engines and the valves have been measured properly and all that's done. And then just take it out for a big long ride. Take it out instead of like an hour, because most people just go out for half an hour, an hour. Go out for 2 hours, maybe even 3. See how far you get. If you're worried, do it in a loop. If you go on Lexmoto, I'll mention it again. It's a brilliant app. I think it's great. Then you can choose a direction and a distance, and it will generate a route for you, which is fantastic. So you can do that. You could say, okay, Lexmoto, give me a 100-mile loop south, please, for example, and it will generate a loop for you, which you can then save, and you can export it to GPX to put in some other device if you wish. Or you can just use the Lexmoto app, and the app is actually really good. It's quite easy to use, and it's got quite good visibility of the actual bits you need to see. You know, so I recommend using it, and just get on a big old ride. The other thing you can do, if you go on Google Maps, you can actually do like points of interest, like things near here. And when you zoom in, you'll see a little icon of a camera, and that will show you where people have stopped to take photographs of various things. And if you're looking to stop and have a good view and maybe a packed lunch or whatever, that's a really good place of finding good places to stop. Again, you can bang that in Lexmoto, and off you go. It will show you the best way to get there. Yeah, so I've been having great fun on the bike. It's just extraordinary. I haven't been having a good time with everybody in the world. Like, I was trying to find somewhere to park just to show you where the alarm was, and the reason why I ended up at someone's farm gateway is purely because everywhere else is blocked with cars. Everywhere else. Lyndhurst blocked. I mean, the road between Lyndhurst and Ashurst, the Happy Cheese, 2 miles. I filtered the length of that. It's completely jammed. The roads around, oh goodness, all the way down to Cowshot are jammed. The bypass is jammed. The ring road is jammed. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm half tempted. Oh, should I go back on the main road? I don't think I'll ever get out on the main road, so what I'm going to do, we'll turn left here and got past Deer Leap. Oh, and everybody else is as well. So you just get, I've got 4 cars behind me. Already. Yeah, there's nothing I can do, mate. Yeah, so there's tons and tons and tons of cars everywhere, literally everywhere, and it's just getting tiring now. I mean, everyone's on lockdown, they're either still furloughed or working from home, and it's the kids' school holidays, and people actually got holidays. And they're all making the most of these staycations, which is where you stay at home and have a vacation, as opposed to going like Spain or Italy or whatever. But it's just really making everywhere hard to get to. I mean, even doing shopping for some people is becoming a real ball ache, because they're going to fight all the tourists and the locals just to get to where they want to go. You know. Oh. So yeah, I sort of hope that, well, like everybody, I hope that this virus thing sorts itself out, because it's getting quite exhausting. I mean, I've been made redundant, So yeah, I've got all the time in the world really on gardening leave, which sucks. On the other hand, I've got all the free time. I'm intending on going out a lot on my bike, but getting out from where I am is becoming a hassle because of all the tourists. You know, ironically, even the routes used by cyclists are becoming congested because the cyclists are going down there. Hang on, let me phrase that so I don't sound like a dick. Cyclists use various routes. I mean, there is an adage on cycling, which is essentially never ride where you drive. Yeah, so all the quiet roads, all the dead quiet roads are being used by cyclists because of that. And that means that if you're on a motorbike, like me, you also look for those routes. Because you go on Lexmoto and say, give me the wiggliest ones. And cars only ever go the straightest way anywhere. So you get motorbikes and push bikes down there, and then you get the locals with the knowledge down there in their cars and their 4x4s because they're trying to bypass all the traffic. And that is now causing an issue. Because now on the main roads it's still absolutely chocker. The 5 or 6 cars that know the locals and know where they're going, they go down the back roads, and then they're getting held up by the cyclists because the cyclists are quite rightly staying well away from the main roads. And the motorbikes who are in between are going, well, we can go down the routes that cyclists use, the single track roads and things, but now it's full of cyclists and cars. I'm not saying it's impassable, what I'm saying is it's becoming incredibly stressful. Because of the number of vehicles around. So, I mean, most of it's boredom, to be honest. People have been locked up for ages, so they're just trying to find something, anywhere to go. And they just can't find anywhere. All they do, they go down, what's that river called? I can't remember now. But yeah, people are going everywhere. I mean, at Lyndhurst, I won't turn left here. I came up this way to, Jesus, there's no road left on this road. It's all falling to pieces. What are you doing? Yeah, I won't turn left here because when I went up there earlier, because I've just done a big loop essentially, it was absolutely packed. Like I said, 2 miles of tailbacks. So I wonder what it's going to look like now. I think Ashurst, if I look left, Ashurst's going to be relatively clear. It's only down the end where Lyndhurst is. No, it's starting. Look, you can see the traffic starting to stack. Yeah. That's the back gear change line. Watch him indicate left. Come on, do the decent thing. If you're going to drive like that. Oh, he didn't. I take it back. He just floored it into the back of traffic. Even though there's nothing for him, there's no gain for him at all. You see that? That BMW, sorry, that VW pulled in front of that BMW. The orange one. It's the other thing, because people are getting stuck in traffic. I love this bit. Because people are getting stuck in traffic, incredibly impatient. And that means they're driving more erratically and doing things like that. I mean, they would do it ordinarily, but the thing is, because they're so impatient, is that the risks they would normally take, they're making them a lot worse. The decisions are worse. They're not giving themselves enough time. They're going, well, I do it normally, so I'm going to do it now. Rah! And there's a car beside them they would normally account for, and now they're not. Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, I'll leave you to it. Have a very good afternoon wherever you are. Hope you have a very nice time. I hope you're not being corona to death. I hope you enjoy riding. Take care. Keep the rubber side down. And see you again.